So you're looking for a Necromancer build that does high damage, is very mobile and fast-paced and a lot of fun. This build is for you. Condition Harbinger, in my opinion, is one of the best condi specs right now to be played as a DPS in group content. So be sure to watch the whole video to not miss out a thing. And as always, special shout out to all my supporters on YouTube, Twitch and Patreon that help me keep the lights on. And now, without much further ado, let's jump straight in. Let's start with the gear. So for the gear, it's very straightforward. You fully take Viper's gear. Viper's gear, armor, weapons, trinkets, everything full Viper. And you want to take Superior Rune of the Trapper for the most amount of condition damage and duration. Just perfect. If you can afford infusions, you would go with malign infusions, so condition damage infusions. But of course they are not necessary. For weapons, you want to go Pistol Torch and Scepter Dagger. Again, full Viper. However, the sigils are on the pistol is Torment and Malice. On Torch, on the Scepter you want to have Earth, and on the Dagger you want to have Bursting. So this is a very important setup because this is the most amount of damage that you can get in this rotation that you will do. We will get to the rotation in a second. First, Trinkets full Viper and Relic is Relic of the Fractal. It's just the most amount of damage, passive procs, and that's it. Really, really nice and really straightforward in the build. Regarding utility and food consumables, you would go always with Meaty Asparagos Skewers. It's just by far the best option because it increases your torment duration by 15%, which is the most damaging condition that you have. So it's really good that you just increased it very easily to 100% duration and you get some condition damage. There is no ascended version of that one. And for utility consumables, you would go with Toxic Tuning Crystals, just the best option, gives a lot of condition damage. Before we get to the trades, I want to remind you, if you like the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. But now let's go to the trades. So for the trades, it's quite straightforward as well. You take Curses, Soul Reaping and Harbinger, of course. In Curses, you just get a lot, and I mean a lot of condi application. So passively, when you crit, that's why Viper is so good, you apply Bleeding, and Bleeding has increased duration, so you actually get a decent amount of bleeding by using this trade alone. Then you get Fury while you enter Shroud, not that important, but you get additional precision, that's quite nice to proc this trade, but in general just do more damage because you're running Viper. And then you get more crit chance for each condition on the foe, so you actually get a lot of precision by using that. And condition damage based on your precision as well, so it's just very, very nice in terms of stats that you get just from the minor trades here. The big trades give you Insidious Disruption, disabling a foe inflicts torment on them. You can do that quite easily, you have a lot of CC in this build baseline. Then your corruption skills inflict one additional condition on you that might seem as a negative, but you can then transfer the condition and it actually deals more damage, for example on Blood is Power. And the cooldowns is quite significantly recharged, of course, as well. And then lastly, we take Lingering Curse, which increases your condition damage by 200 baseline on every weapon, but conditions inflicted by your Scepter have longer duration, 50% longer duration, and the interesting part here is this is increasing the base duration. So that doesn't count towards the 100% condition duration increase, for example, on your Torment. No, this is the base duration of your Scepter skills is longer, and then on top of that you get the 100% increase of your Expertise. Really, really strong. And of course you get the Devouring Darkness skill as the 3 skill on Scepter. It's really, really potent because of this trait. Then you go for Soul Reapings for some Life Force generation and just damage multipliers. More Life Force, Shroud skill, recharge reduction and maximum Life Force increase just helps. Then your Shroud skill 1 inflicts vulnerability, that's good enough. You could easily take Speed of Shadows if you wanted to be a little bit fast and have some condi glance there, but it's not really necessary. Shroud skill 1 inflicts vulnerability is quite nice if your party struggles with vulnerability uptime. Then you just get a damage multiplier. When you exit or enter Shroud, you should always keep that up, it's really good. And then lastly, your auto attack in Shroud inflicts burning. Obviously really, really good because it's quite fast. You get access to a Necromancer Death Shroud, but because of Harbinger it's altered and it's actually really, really potent. So it gives you some really strong hits here on the 2 skill. The 3 skill is a nice movement skill, does more damage if you have more Blight. And the 4 skill does also damage and CCs and is really nice if you take advantage of the Blight threshold if you are above that. And of course the 5 skill is also another really, really strong CC. It also gives you some Life Force. Important part, Harbinger Shroud doesn't neglect your damage. So when you get damaged, it will not soak the damage that you get, but it will instantly go to your normal health pool. But it's more potent and therefore you can stay in there a little bit longer because it doesn't soak the damage. Other than that, Harbinger is really nice because of the Blight. The Blight thing gives you negative maximum health while you have Blight, but it increases your condition damage because of this trait even more. So that's really good. And the Shroud skill 2 also inflicts poison. But in addition to that, Blight heals you actually quite hard. So multiple Blight stacks actually can heal you really, really potently, but in general, you are a little bit squishier than, for example, a Condi Reaper. If you want to see a more tanky build, be sure to check out my Condi Reaper build guide in the description below. But now, let's go on with the other traits that we have here. So Vitality helps a bit more Vitality means also that your life force is higher. Then you get more life force you get life force in general when you enter Shroud. That's quite nice. Then you take Dark Gunslinger, of course, so that your pistol skills recharge fast and you gain expertise based on your Vitality. That's why it's so good that you get Vitality here. And I have to mention here, if you don't get the Jadebot Core Tier 10, which gives you more Vitality and therefore more expertise, you will lose out on damage. So not too much, but if you want to min-max, that's the best option as well. Also don't forget it gives you more Vitality, so it's also more defensive. And then, of course, you take Doom Approaches just because you passively apply Torment around you while you're in the Harbinger Shroud. And it also gives you way more condition damage. So it's really, really potent, just the best option for damage. Quickly cover the skills. So for utility skills, you, of course, want to take Blood is Power. Blood is Power gives you self-bleeding and applies a heavy amount of bleeding to an enemy. If you then transfer it, for example, with the Plague Signet, which sends your conditions to the enemy that you have, 5 of them, you actually get just straight up a damage increase by doing that. Self-bleeding and self-torment to the enemy means that you get more damage. It's really potent. Also gives some might. Then Signet of Spite improves your power, but typically you want to use it because it applies a lot of conditions and all of them deal damage. So it's actually a damaging skill in that sense if you use it actively. And like I said, Plague Signet is used to Signet activate it and send the conditions to the enemy. The reduced condition damage is not useful in that sense because you typically want to send the conditions to the enemy with that. You could swap around and take, for example, some projectile block or epidemic if you needed to. Just keep in mind that when you swap, then I would probably take off Signet of Spite or Blood is Power and Plague Signet because one or the other is actually not important. Only take them in conjunction with each other. But like I said, epidemic can be good, more CC or Spectral Grasp can be good for a pull. And there are many options that are also quite useful. For a healing skill, I would always take Elixir of Promise. It's just the most potent heal and really, really strong because it also gives you Blight and it therefore increases your damage. And then you have Elixir of Ambition. That's really good. It gives you, so to say, a little bit of lenience when your allies are not supporting you that well because you give some really nice boons as well and a lot of damage. Always try to hit it on the foe and yourself so that you actually get all the boons and get the Blight and stuff. It's really, really potent. For your weapon skills, Scepter 2 does damage. Scepter 3 is a really nice life force and boon conversion on the enemy and it's just really, really potent. Gives a lot of damage and more damage if there's more conditions on the foe, so it's really good. Then the 4 skill here could be used to transfer conditions and the 5 skill just does some nice damage as well. On pistol, you have some nice CC on the 3 and then the 5 on the torch. You also have some nice CC, which also applies some heavy torment and gives some might for your allies. Then you have some life force generation on the 4 and some damage, and the 2 skill is also some heavy damage and life force generation. So in total, you get a lot of nice damaging skills and a lot of really potent condition application skills. Now let's take a look at the rotation. Before the opener, you can precast the Harbinger Shroud and exit the Shroud instantly to get the Soul Barbs buff and get some Blight. You can also precast Elixir of Promise because the Blight stacks will not get removed in any case. Then for the opener, we're going to cast Blood is Power into Plague Signet and use Wild Blast, so your Pistol 3 into your Torch 4 and Torch 5. Use your Elixir of Ambition, so your lead skill, and enter Harbinger Shroud. And then you start using the loop. The Shroud loop would be using your 3 in Shroud into your 2 in Shroud, use your 5 in Shroud and your 4 in Shroud. After that, you auto attack until your Dark Barrage is up, and then use the Dark Barrage and Devouring Cut, auto attack until Voracious Arc is up, and use Voracious Arc into Dark Barrage and exit the Harbinger Shroud. Be aware though that the Tainted Bolt attack, so the auto attack, is a multi-hit skill, so don't interrupt or cancel the second hit of it. And always try to use the 3 and 4 skill while you're above the Blight threshold, so you actually get a decent amount of damage. You can also delay the 5 skill of the Shroud to actually get more breakbar damage out of it. After that, you enter the pistol priority loop, so to say, where you want to always try to cast the Weeping Shot skill, which is the second skill, twice per loop. Use the Elixir of Promise if you have it. Use your Blood is Power into Plague Signet and Harrowing Wave and Wild Blast, as well as Oppressive Collapse and Signet of Spite in this priority order. The general loop after that would always be like, being in pistol means the pistol priority, then you go into weapon swapping when you are done, use Devouring Darkness into Grasping Dead and Enfeebling Blood, enter Shroud. Do the Shroud loop. After you go out of Shroud, you will use Devouring Darkness and Grasping Dead, and weapon swap. Use the pistol, so to say priority, and then enter Harbinger Shroud. And that's repeating the whole loop. Also want to mention here, if you need more life force for whatever reason, you can use Summon Shadow Fiend and use the Horn skill off cooldown instead of the Signet of Spite, and you can also use Elixir of Anguish for more personal quickness if for whatever reason your allies are not providing enough quickness. This is the whole build. It's, in my opinion, very fun to play. It's very strong. It is especially strong, for example, in 98 and 99 Fractal CM right now as a Condi ranged build, but it works in a lot of raids and strike missions very well, and I can highly recommend it to you if you're Necromancer enjoyer, especially if you like Condi builds. This one is really, really potent. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks a lot for watching. Thanks to all my supporters again, and I hope to see you all in the next video.